Lock and Load Monday. Anybody else?
Is there anybody out there?
Well, my guns are locked and loaded.
Okay. All your guns are always locked and loaded, so.
All my guns are loaded.
So, White Volcano Squad, this is Monday Lock and Load live chat, and we got a lot of cool new stuff to talk about this week. And, okay, G-Webs is uploading 16 videos. So, I think the first topic we want to discuss is, the first question I'm going to ask the panel is, things that I trust more than Hillary Clinton. Name one thing that you trust more than Hillary Clinton.
A fox in a hen house.
All right. Anybody else?
The last strand on a frayed chunk of 550.
The last strand of 550 paracord. Okay. Things that I trust. Fake ID. Things that I trust more than Hillary Clinton.
Yep. Fake ID.
Anything else?
A high point.
A high point. I trust a high point more than Hillary
No.
Clinton.
Hey, it's true. I trust her. I trust it
If
more.
you're gonna post it, say any gun, Caltech or an
Or-
R51.
Okay.
Or a
Anybody
giant.
else? Anybody else?
I have trust issues.
Okay. Mexican tap water. A
Yeah,
rattlesnake with a
But,
pet meat sign on it. O.J. Simpson showing his knife collection.
With or without his gloves.
Yeah, I was
If
going
the
to say
glove
high
don't
points
fit.
are probably pretty.
Can I just say Tom Brady?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get to sports now. Remember, target
Thanks.
shooting is a sport, G-Web. So
Trust it.
that's our connection there to Deflategate. Michael Jackson's doctor. Things I trust more than Hillary Clinton. An Obama deal with Iran. I don't know about that. Palestinian on a motorcycle. Gas station sushi. A Jimmy Carter economic plan. Things that I trust more than Hillary Clinton. Brian Williams news report. Loch Ness monster sighting and prayers
Fox
for
News.
peace. Loch Ness prayers for peace from Al Sharpton. And
Can I also say my bladder?
your bladder. Okay, I don't trust your bladder either.
Yeah, my gallbladder.
Speaker at the Roswell UFO Festival.
Do you trust Fox News more?
Who, me?
Yeah.
That's
a tough one.
Well, they don't do news, do they? So I get out of that one. No, they just have talking heads.
Okay. Next up, here's a real question. Do you trust Alex Jones more?
Well, I haven't finished with my Hillary things, but okay. Fidel Castro. Who do you trust more, Hillary Clinton or Fidel Castro? I mean, you know what the Castro brothers are gonna do.
I may not like what he says, but I believe he's going to do what he says.
Yeah, I agree with Dan on that one. Yeah.
Hillary Clinton or Fidel Castro?
Probably Castro.
Oh, yeah.
Castro, because you know what you're gonna get.
Baghdad Bob or Hillary? Who do you trust more?
Ooh.
I'm ready for Hillary.
Oh my God, that's the shit hit the fan scenario. We're gonna have a
Let's keep
whole
this fight going.
how to prepare.
We only gain more ground and more
Okay.
freedom in most
On this-
cases.
Okay, on this
Now-
day in history. Oh, go ahead. What do you want to say?
Are you also going to have a question later on, like good investments prior to Hillary taking office?
Ammo and guns.
I was going to
Ammo,
say, like,
guns, magazines.
AR-15 lowers
Pro mags.
and
Trust
ammo
them more
and
than
mags.
Hillary.
Well, only if you can get the lowers at a good price, though. You don't want to get stuck with some ridiculously overpriced, lowers, and then, especially on an island.
Yeah.
There's only
Well, most AR lowers are made of aluminum, so they don't exactly rust. So bury them somewhere in a Ziploc bag.
Bury them somewhere. Well, they have polymer lowers too that are very lightweight. If you want to do a
That's true.
lightweight build,
What would last longer, an aluminum lower or a polymer lower?
what would be the light? It depends how long you have to carry it around with a pack.
That's true.
I mean,
I'm not talking lasting
I'm old and
longer.
out of shape, so I only reason I would get an AR is if it was really, really lightweight. So for me, it would be polymer. But I understand if there's longer lasting.
How light? How much do you want your AR to weigh?
Without the ammo, not
Ideally,
much over
2 ounces.
2 ounces. Not much over 5 pounds.
Okay.
5 and a
Mine's
I was gonna
half.
say the new Ruger AR 5.56 is 6.5 pounds.
Mine is 6.1 pounds.
Can you get anybody make one under 5?
Mine's 10 pounds.
Yeah,
only
well,
way I
that's
saw that
a-
Oh, you're talking about here, 15s, never mind.
There was one that was 5 point something, but it was polymer.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
want a carbon 15 or something, but I don't trust them. I
mean,
trust Hillary
Probably
Clinton
expensive
more.
as hell.
I mean, for 1 pound, I'll take something that's proven for 1 extra pound.
Yeah. Well, it's just my divorce is pretty heavy, so I would like a light rifle. That's all I'm saying, and so.
Oh.
Well,
agree.
Well, now we're getting into the Keltecs. Do you trust the Keltec now?
More than
then get a
Hillary?
sub 2000.
get an SU-16.
There you go.
They don't have handguards or something, right?
No, they have handguards. You can get a conversion kit for it, so it's like a Picatinny rail handguard or something. But that's just polymer.
So what do you guys think is the best pre-built, where you don't build your own lightweight rifle then? That's in 5.56.
I have no experience with the SU-16, so I can't speak for it, but I've heard a lot of good stories about them.
Well, you can build your own from Palmetto State and make it light as just get a pencil barrel and the aluminum upper and lower really doesn't. That's not a problem with me. It's really what kind of stuff you put on it. Like, are you gonna put a
Right.
big heavy stock on it? Big heavy.
Scope and everything.
Yeah. When you turn it into a Christmas tree is where it gets heavy.
Yeah.
When you have your scope, your quad rail, your forward grip, your light, your laser, all that stuff, then it gets heavy.
I mean, I just have irons on mine, and I'm happy with it.
And Dano, you could even put TRS 25 or something on there, or one of them new primary arms red dots, and it doesn't have too much weight. They're like Aimpoint Micro.
Well, I can hit a 10-inch wide plate at 200 yards, so that's for at least for what I do, I'm more than happy with that.
But some people want better than 5 MOA.
Oh, I understand.
What's
And
a
I
good
can't
lightweight
tell-
scope if
I
you have
can't
to?
tell where in that 10 inches I'm hitting. I may be hitting a loose group, or I may be hitting a tight group. I have no idea.
But maybe one day you want to try out some fast acquisition and changing targets. You could do that a lot faster with a red dot.
Yeah, that's what my divorce for. But if I'm going lightweight, I don't know. I suppose I could just do iron sights, but you probably would want a lightweight, scope of some type. I would
I
think.
mean, but you are right about acquisition. If you're thinking multiple targets, you're right, Moon. Even a Bushnell, what is it, 25 or whatever
Yeah.
it is, fairly
Sure.
inexpensive.
Yep.
It's not the best, but it will hold up.
Yeah.
You mean the TRS 25 red dot?
Yep.
Parallax
That's it.
issues. I've had parallax issues with that one. It sits in my closet. Anyway, this day in history, naval history, May 11th, 1862, Confederates destroyed the USS Virginia off of Craney Island to prevent capture by the advancing Union Army. In 1898, there was the The transoceanic cable was cut during the Spanish-American War by the USS Marblehead and USS Nashville near Cienfuegos, Cuba. And that basically cut off isolated Cuba from Spain. And that was also on May 11th. And May 11th, 1950, the Viking rocket number 4, which was launched by the Norton Sound on Project Reach around the equator. Traveled about 106 miles and 105 miles up peak altitude. And that was basically half the size and half the power of the V-2 rockets. And all that was on May 11th. And that was the difference between the V-2. And this was basically the U.S. project in 1950 to advance from the V-2 and the design, and that was the first. All the rest were launched at White Sands, New Mexico. This was launched from a ship, the difference between the V-2 and the Viking rocket was it had a gimbal thrust chamber controlled by gyroscopic inertial references, designed by Robert Goddard, and it was aluminum instead of steel. So that's naval history for May 11th. And which brings us to, they had the Russia, anybody see the Russian Victory in Europe parade with their 16,000 troops?
Why did they do it a day after the rest of us?
Because their tanks stalled. When they
Well, no, we do it on the 8th, and they've done it on the 9th ever since communism.
I don't know, but the interesting story was on the day before the actual parade, they did their practice run, of the practice parade, for the real one, and their brand new T-14 Armada tank, it stalled, and they tried to. It's supposed to be deployed in 2016, and eventually it's supposed to be robot controlled. Won't need a crew, but it stalled, and they hooked it up to some vehicle, and they couldn't tow it. And there's a pretty cool picture. I'll screen share it, and we posted the link, but I'll put it in the internal since I put down my notes here, and I'll screen share it real quick for everybody. Let's see. Here, copy the link. There it is.
So what's so great about the T-14?
That it stalled during a practice parade.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a world-dominating tank.
Well, it's their latest tank. It's supposed to be deployed, and it's supposed to be it goes 50 miles an hour, which is faster than a Abrams, and it's supposed to be able to be robot controlled eventually. So, but let me screen share it.
Yeah, robot control. I like that idea. It can turn on its own.
I knew you would like that part.
Being that if I remember correctly, during the rehearsals for the May 10th or 9th or whatever it was parade, it actually stalled right in front of the review stands.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Except the tracks locked up. So they actually waited about a half hour and were finally able to get it started and then get it rolling again.
Yeah, there it is for the viewers in the external.
And there's the chains that you can see.
Yeah, and the tow tank in front couldn't get it to move at all.
Right,
So-
because the tracks were locked.
So this was the day before. This was the practice.
Right.
I mean,
They just want to make, according to the Russians, they just want to make it look like it's not a good tank, so that way, when they actually deploy it in the field, it's amazing, and they didn't expect it.
They're just showing, like, if you park that tank somewhere, it's really difficult for somebody to steal it.
It says a new tank. I'll just read the article for the people watching on YouTube. A new high-tech Russian tank stalled during a military demonstration Thursday, prompting a futile effort to tow the T-14 Armada out of Moscow's Red Square. Russian officials said they meant for that to happen.
Yeah. That was obvious BS.
We wanted to quote. We wanted to show how an evacuation of a tank would take place. Unquote. The parade announcer told Russia Today. It was planned that the tank would stop. All right.
Although what I was surprised at is Russia Today actually showed it in their American feed. Now, I realize it's not a secret, but the fact that it doesn't, they're clearly Russia Today or RT always has their pro-Russian, anti-American slant to everything. So the fact that they showed it, I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, no. Here's my take on it. Since it could be robot controlled, as what he says, means it's an auto loading tank, and auto loading tanks are known to jam.
Well, this seems like something that obviously wasn't ready to be shown off, but had a deadline, and if they didn't meet that deadline, then heads would roll. So it reminds me of that movie, The Pentagon Wars, that HBO made, and I put a link in the side chat if anybody's ever seen it, but it was like one of the worst travesties of a new tank demonstration America's ever done.
Yeah, I just keep looking at this tank. I'm going, nothing the A-10 can't take care of.
Well, they're out of they promised Iran, those S-300 anti-aircraft missiles, and they don't have any more to send because they're all in Ukraine, and the Iranian crews couldn't figure out. They couldn't teach the Iranian anti-air crews. They just couldn't grasp the concept to make it work when they're trying to train them, and I think Putin threatened Israel that if they sent Ukraine any arms or sold any arms to Ukraine, that they would send S-300s to Syria. But the Syrians won't be able to figure out how to use them either, and they don't have any to send anyway because they're all out. But anyway.
Yay, politics.
But there was a massive 16,000 person parade in Russia. So.
Oh yeah, that's an annual big deal there. Red Square Day, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Red
So
Dawn
when are
Day.
they going to do the tank ballet with the T-14?
You mean when are they going to release it? It's 2016.
No, when they do actually do the ballet.
Oh, a ballet with a tank?
He's joking.
You haven't seen that?
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Somebody
I'm
do a
100%
rim shot.
serious. Russia has done tank ballets before. Look how awesome our tank is. It can do a ballet.
Who's loading their magazine or something?
Oh, that's me. Sorry.
How dare you?
And how dare you load something on a lock and load show?
On a gun show.
Yeah, but I'll go look up the link for tank ballet for you.
Almost sacrilegious, I know.
Yeah, so Putin took a few shots at America, and let's see what somebody said. What are they? Oh, they were showing off.
Are we sure the Russians just didn't get their tank repoed?
Get their tank what?
I think he said repoed.
Repoed. Well, no, they were showing off their new sitting duck tactical position. So I guess their T-14 is going to be the equivalent to our F-35, except we're probably spending more money on the F-35. Anyway, so that's on that one, and that was supposed to be my one thing about the Russia. One thing they didn't show and couldn't show at Red Square was their Navy because it basically sucks. So anyway, there was that. That was that. Looks like all the people in the Middle East. Well, the Saudi king isn't going to show up to Camp David with Obama, and as soon as he showed up, then everybody else canceled and sent their subordinates. Bahrain, the UAE, but who I think Qatar is going to show up. I know Oman isn't going to show up because the king he is actually sick. The king of Oman, he had a procedure in Europe recently, but Qatar is going to show up, and Kuwait. Well, Kuwait would always show up, but Qatar. I mean, that's. I think Saudi Arabia and the UAE threatened to, invade Qatar if they didn't shut down Al Jazeera at some point. So it was. Even Sunni Arabs don't agree on everything. So. let's see. Basically, there's the World War III thing is they're all the bombing in obviously Yemen, but the whole world's messed up and like usual. So that pretty much covers the rest of the world. Now that we all know that it's messed up. What else do you guys want to talk about? I covered all that I could figure out before the chat right there. Tumbleweeds rolling
Oregon.
by. Oregon. The laws there.
Yeah, I just want to say those 3 links are for
Yes,
tank
yeah.
rallies for
Food of
Russian
government,
tanks.
throats of the people. Yes.
Okay, I do know that the Ninth Circuit Court actually has a YouTube channel, and we're gonna be able to watch like the Peruta live. All their stuff is live on Google Hangouts, all their courtrooms. But I don't know about Oregon. What was the case? It was a vote up there. I have not been following the Oregon stuff. I know there's some people on gun channels.
Yankee said there was no vote, but they basically gave away their natural right to transfer property freely.
Yep, those that were in the House and the whatever they call House and Senate for their state were the ones who
What are they
passed the
trying to
bill,
pass right now?
and the governor signed it. They already signed it, so it's already passed.
Very similar to the Washington.
No, it was.
So you can't transfer it without a background check? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Right.
Including, like, if you and I go to a range and we meet, and I say, hey, do you mind if I shoot your
No,
gun?
that is not. They already took. What they did is they took parts that they knew would be thrown out of the Washington bill because of what's being sued over, and they took those and removed them from the bill. So like being able to loan your friend a gun to go hunt is okay.
Whatever, that's what Yankee said, but I haven't read anything.
So lending it.
No, that's what Chris said.
Yeah, so if you wanted to go shooting,
Yeah, if you want to go shooting, you want to loan somebody your gun, it's okay.
Okay, but at what point do they say, well, you're no longer just loaning it to your friend, you're giving it to him?
I can't remember. I don't know about gifts. Never asked about the gift thing. But now if you wanted to sell it to your best friend you knew since you were, 2 years old, you still have to go through the background check.
sorry about that, guys. I have a huge delay.
Yeah, that's okay, Brian.
That's what she said.
So Brian's new. Do you want to introduce yourself at all? Basically, Joseph just said you were in the Marines and you're new to gun channels, and that's about all I know. We will wait for his delay. But or if he doesn't come back, we'll just get the story later. But so I don't know. Well, that sucks if you're in Oregon. In Hawaii, I actually got a response for the first time ever. That wasn't just a form letter from our House, my Hawaii State House representative.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's like about like almost a minute long delay.
A minute long delay. Wow.
Try to refresh. F5.
Man, his internet's shittier than here in Canada.
Oh, he'll hear it in a minute. I
Oh,
guess.
Bob says Canadian internet is the best thing.
Oh, maybe his, not mine. Mind you, Bob says a lot of things.
I said, is it really better than South Korea's, where you can basically down a full HD movie in under 30 seconds? He says, yeah.
So in Oregon, this was just something that the legislature wrote, and then the governor passed it
Signed it.
with no, signed it with no.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Verizon.
Mr. Time Warner Cable.
Well, I'm Oceanic Time Warner. No, he's
So
gonna be
isn't there like a process the state citizenry can go through to have that
Good luck. You
appealed,
have to sue.
or
You have to sue
recalled,
the
or
state.
something like that?
No, you have to sue. You have to apply it. You have to,
It seems like they shouldn't just be passing laws
No, you
without
can get
our
you can-
permission.
You can have things like that repealed. We didn't have to sue
Yeah.
anybody to get constitutional carry in Arizona. You can
Well, they
make
just passed
That was
it.
about a minute ago.
people to do it.
I mean, most states have a gun owners organization. Now, granted, not all of them are very good, but that would be the first step that I would certainly proceed down, and that's something that I'm involved with in Illinois on almost a weekly basis.
So
Well,
yeah, it sounds like they need to start a petition, and I don't mean like a whitehouse.gov petition. I mean like a petition for
can't
the legislature and governor.
Haas
all
USMC
the-
lives in Oregon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw a video of him talking about this.
I mean, maybe they are. Maybe he did. The governor did get a lot of letters and just ignored them. But
Well, if you let it get to that point, it's too late. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, you start when it's in your state house. That's where you start with the phone calls, the emails, the paper letters.
yeah, and like I said, I just got my first ever call back or email back that wasn't a form letter from my particular Kailua Kona Congress lady, and not from the U.S. Congress, from the Hawaii State House, and she actually, that was on the bill that was going to ban, you can't drink and possess a gun or
You say from the Hawaii Steakhouse? Because that doesn't seem very official.
steakhouse. If it was a steakhouse, we'd have a lot better gun laws. But no, at the state house, and yeah, they just cut right through it right there. But it was the law to ban drinking and owning firearms, Bill 888, and they basically.
Hey
the
guys,
Senate
we're talking
passed
all
it.
over each other.
Well, that's your delay. Yeah, it must be the delay, I think. Anyway, it was 888, and so I wrote the Congress lady from the Hawaii State House, and yeah, she got back to me. She said, yeah, the House recommitted it, and it was like a unanimous vote to send it back, and it was the last day of the legislation, so they just voted to kill it basically. And that basically, if you came back from a dentist appointment, took a painkiller, or had 2 beers in your own house, you would have been possessing a gun while under the influence of a drug, and that would have been like they could come into your house and take your guns or something, So
So everybody who goes and gets their tooth pulled and gets a couple of pills for the pain overnight.
yeah, well, you're under the influence of a drug. Yeah, so but
has to
like I
do
said,
with guns.
the Senate passed it, but the House killed it here in the state. So I guess the senators are all idiots except for one guy, and the House killed it because they said it had problems, and basically they had taken out it originally. The bill had said you can't brandish or discharge a firearm in public, and they had changed it to just possessing a gun and be drunk. So which was so stupid. I know Brian's having problems here, but
Yeah, I'm having big problems.
well, you seem not to be delayed anymore, right?
Oh, right on. Thank God
Cool.
for that.
Yeah.
okay. So can you introduce yourself, Brian?
Hi guys, I'm Brian. I hail from Southern California, the communist state. I'm coming to you from my abode right now. Yes, I served in the Marine Corps. I was a helicopter mechanic. I worked on CH-53s, I got out 19 years ago. I'm an old fart. And I'm actually very, very happy that I was able to find this channel through G-Webs there, and I'm definitely happy I get to talk to like-minded people. This is actually kind of refreshing. It's almost a small taste of freedom.
Yeah, on the internet, we're free.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the NSA is listening to us right now.
Well, unless you say, that terrorist group's name 5 times or 10 times really fast.
I was going to say, what's it matter? They listen to our cell phones.
So it's like Beetlejuice or Yankee. If you say it too fast, they'll come.
There's other stuff that happened that I wanted to talk about that I'm kind of remembering now. Of course, there's those 3 words that will instantly grab a headline. Guns and George Zimmerman. He got basically was involved in a road rage something, and he got shot or something.
All the headlines that I read today were George Zimmerman involved in a shooting, and then followed on Facebook by comments of stupid people that didn't bother to read the article, and they were all like, when are they going to put this guy away forever? And it was basically them assuming that he shot another person or caused a shootout, when the fact was he got shot in the face by some guy with road rage.
Right.
So it's pretty frustrating. Yeah. He's okay. No, he's okay. It must have been like a flesh wound or something.
Grazing shot.
Are we sure it wasn't an attempted hit?
Yeah, it could have been.
It's only
You never
flesh
know.
wound.
You never know with the media. The full story might come out 2 weeks from now.
Okay, and then there was another incident. Did you guys see in Baltimore, in a place called Dundalk? A man was violently beaten by a group of teens. Basically, he had there was 2 girls fighting on his truck, and he went outside and asked them to not to fight on his truck. And then a gang of teenagers beat the crap out of him and almost killed him. And they're from high school.
Where was this?
Dundalk, Maryland.
Oh.
And there's like 17-year-old and a 15-year-old attempted murder charges. He got like 2 broken eye sockets, and he was messed up pretty bad. And I guess he even have a gun.
No, you can't conceal carry in Maryland.
Yep.
They're just misunderstood youth.
Yeah, the teens go to nearby Baltimore Community High School.
Oh, someone in Gun Channels is saying that Zimmerman was cut by glass and not the bullet.
Okay. See,
Yeah,
time goes on and the truth comes out.
Yeah, but all you need for a headline is George Zimmerman and gun. It could be Zimmerman buys gun, Zimmerman sells gun, or
Zimmerman looks at a gun.
it'll be on the national news.
Zimmerman Celtic spokesperson, guaranteed to work once.
Are we still on Zimmerman, or do you mind if I put something out there?
Well, I was just going to finish up on this Baltimore, thing with it, where the guy went out and a group of teenagers, a bunch of teenagers, beat him up from high school and almost killed him. So, I mean, that's pretty much, get off my lawn moment where you come out open carry. Did Clint Eastwood fire a shot into the grass, or did he just brandish with his M1?
I think he just brandished. But it's a shame, because in that state, the guy had no way of legally defending himself.
What are you talking about? You can carry pepper spray.
I don't know about that. I'd have to ask Marco, but
Wait, you can't even carry pepper spray there?
It's I don't know. There's some states where you can't.
Oh shit! Here we can even carry pepper spray, and it's Canada.
Yeah, well, in some cases, if there's a gang of people that's going to kick the crap out of you, I mean, you're just going to have to deal with the law later and the gang first,
Yeah, I can carry pepper spray. It's only max 10% OC, and then you're limited to the amount of pepper spray you can have in a canister, and it's got to look like pepper spray. It can't look like lipstick or something like that. Like a lot of women like to conceal it that way.
Well, it goes back to the old saying, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Yeah, and he was almost killed. I mean, 2 broken eye sockets and some other damage. That almost lethal. But anyway, okay, what was it you wanted to bring up? I'm trying to remember everything that I was going to talk about before, but sometimes things just pop in and out of my
I
brain.
brought up Keltec with the Zimmerman being the face of Keltec or something like that. Well, did you guys see Matt's new video about him buying a Keltec?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. Well, summarize it.
According to Matt, it's for his wife.
Yeah, because his wife wanted a gun that she could do whatever the hell she wanted to, and he wouldn't care about.
Which, what he wouldn't care about. But yeah,
it's so his wife can carry it out in a boot. You happy now, Quark?
Yeah. Well, before the chat, it's like she wants to carry it just like in her purse or just in her pocket without a holster. So he's trying to talk her into a holster now. So definitely is concerned about how she carries it.
All right. Well, that's when we had the holster thing last week. I mean.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, you mean the one where I disappeared?
Yeah, because you weren't feeling good.
Yeah. And look where that led me. I'm starting to think I should not join your chats because I ended up in the emergency room the next day.
Well, how can it be my chat? I mean, I'm not that bad, am I?
Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it was someone else that was there in the chat.
It could be the person who says a boot all the time.
Hey, I wasn't present for that chat, right?
Oh, was Bob in? Bob wasn't in the chat last week.
No, Bob doesn't say a boot. He says A.
I don't know what you're talking
It's
about.
this
eh?
filament bat tree.
Who saw the bear video in Yosemite National Park? The bears chasing the tourists around over the bridge.
I thought you were
Did
talking
he
about
eat
the
it? Did the bear eat any?
I was rooting for the bear because people are so stupid, I'm gonna go.
They're just coming out of hibernation, of course.
Yeah, well, Mama Bear protecting her cubs,
Yeah, Mama Bear being extremely hungry.
And
I like it when the PETA people, the nature, I'm not gonna say nature lovers, but the ultra animal protectionist people, they I don't know, they think that since their love for animals is so strong that they won't be hurt by them, and then they end up getting their head swatted off by a...
Yeah, it's like you can't go there.
Do you
The
mean
guy that went to live with grizzlies?
Yep.
Do you mean the guy living with the grizzlies or the Sidiots?
Any of them.
Yeah, any of them.
Yeah, well, some people go up. You can't go up to a bear, hand feed it a piece of food or candy, and say, "Well, I'm all out. That's all. Go away." What do you think the bear's gonna do? He's gonna get angry, and you're next on the menu. And in this case, there was a group of people. I mean, there's she had 2 or 3 cubs, and there's a group of people taking pictures, and then the mama bear got mad and chased him down the bridge. And so people don't know how to act in outside of the city, and
Wow. I'm gonna piss Dano off, but I watched versus Tony's videos today. It's like that cat was playing with his prey. He was gonna eat it anyway. It's laws of nature. Because if you didn't watch a video, a cat had a chipmunk. Well, they're great for mice and rats, but not a frickin' chipmunk. A chipmunk is frickin' a large fucking mouse. It's a rodent that causes a lot of fucking damage. let them kill it and eat it.
I saw this really cool product for water preps this week, but it was just ridiculously astronomically overpriced in the stratosphere. I bet it was a good product, but it's called the Survival Still. It's basically for distilling water. It's just two pieces of metal. It's basically a splash guard that you can put over any pot, and then it's basically a curved dome with a hole in it for the steam to go up. And then there's a catch on the top piece is a catch that just drains catch water that basically with a steel tube that where the water after it you put just cold water on top. Basically, you put this catch over the dome, and then you put a jar of a pot of cold water on top, so that condenses the steam, and then when it's condensed, it falls into the catch and goes down the tube. And so it's great, but the price was just absolutely ridiculous. It was made in the USA steel, and it's a good product, but nobody's going to pay like $300 for it, so for like a little piece of steel. But it was distilling water is a really good way, because it kills to filter your water, because it separates the water from everything, and whether it's biological or anything, then so trying to figure out some way to. All you really need is a catch that would work, because I have I have a regular, like steaming pot, and I could put like a saute. I have a cover for my saute pan, which has one of those steam things, but you need a catch that you could put a pot of water on, of cold water, and then a catch with a tube to drain it. That's all you really need, But I wasn't going to spend $300 on one little survival still for two little.
Yeah, they're probably saying it was made out of some sort of like special high grade steel that.
Well, it was USA steel, but it doesn't matter. It's not titanium or anything, and it still wasn't worth $300.
No, it's like $30.
Yeah, well, good luck finding a catch. So basically what it is, you have the water pot on the bottom of hot water that you're heating up, and you have the cold water on top, and you have just the splash guard cover where the steam can get out, and then you have the catch on top. And it'd be really cool if we could figure out how to get a catch that would work on top of any steam cover,
you can make your own freaking still and do it that way too. It's not that hard.
Yeah, so basically he did go over the advantages of distillation over filters. Although you can pre-filter it, it completely separates the water, by vaporizing it, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying you can make your own still, by coiling copper pipe. And doing a steel construction for the rest, and you can make your own fairly simply and fairly inexpensively.
Yeah, well, the thing about this one is all you really needed was a heat source of any kind. That's it. A flame. Any heat source.
Yeah, same with the still. Just need a heat source, which is fire.
Yeah, any fire. So. You just needed I'm not good at. I don't know where to get a copper pipe and how to because you have to seal it against the water, right? And the thing about this is instead of you're putting it in a copper pipe like a still for alcohol and all, but for water, I don't know. It had to cool and then turn into water and then flow down, but it was looked pretty efficient, but it was just I don't know. I don't know what the efficiency of a copper coil is as opposed to just a catch in a pan like this. But
well, the coil kind of acts like an intercooler. Do you know anything about aircraft?
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah.
As the vapor travels through the copper pipe, round and round and round down the coil, it cools and turns into liquid. And you don't need the cold water source. So actually, you're saving yourself a step.
If you can get it, but how efficient is it going to be? Because a lot of the steam's going to just fall back down instead of going up, right?
Steam rises and it hits the coil, and the coil goes down. the steam will actually push it further down. It has to escape somewhere.
So all I need is a pan with a pan top with a coil, a cover for any pot with a coil, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, you can, I'm sure they've got YouTube videos on how to make stills. I mean, you can
Yeah.
make them the size to fit your needs. And you don't have to make alcohol with it. You can just make water or distilled water.
Well, it sounds something like that's going to be on my list of stuff to do. I mean, I have my Sawyer filter.
You might have to hire somebody to do a little bit of joining for you. If you don't have a welder or a way to.
Well, this is Hawaii. It's hard to find anybody on this island.
You just go to Home Depot, get yourself a handheld torch for like $10 or $20, and get some solder and some flux. And
I have that.
Again, you can YouTube on how to do silver solder. It's really simple. You cover both ends in flux. You put them together. You heat it up. You touch the solder to it. Just a drop. It seals it up perfect.
Well, if it doesn't get moved around or jostled, yeah. I mean.
No, just thinking about your household plumbing. It's basically done the same way.
Yeah, it's not like you have to let it sit for a long time. Silver solder sets.
Yeah, I know all solder. I know about soldering, but I haven't done any. I mean, just for electronics, though. I've only done that kind of soldering. So.
Yeah, this is a little bit different because you got to heat both surfaces.
Yeah, we had to learn how to silver solder with constructing pipes for aircraft. So.
Yeah, you might need some lead-free solder. That's the only thing.
That's why you use silver. Use silver.
So I'm gonna have to get a pan top, or just use a pan top, and then cut a hole through it, and then find a piece of copper piping.
It's actually be looking for tubing because tubing's easier to bend.
Copper tubing. All right.
Yeah, you just got to make sure you don't kink the tubing. So.
All right. Well, so how hot? How basically I have to just warm it up before I start trying to.
Yeah. Well, just think of mash and their still that they had for making their own hooch.
I'm not gonna look at MASH to figure out how to do this.
No, I'm just saying if you need even just to look at.
I vaguely remember how that was.
I think they use glass beakers and,
I don't have any beakers.
Well, you can use a glass like mason jar. They use those too. It's just to catch the water when it's done cooling. That's all.
No, I'm not talking about what they were actually cooking it in. Was like those big glass vials. They came up to to the rubber stopper and the little.
Oh yeah.
So what kind of aircraft did you work on, Brian?
I worked on CH-53s and CH-46s. It's mostly 53s. I was an intermediate level power plants mechanic.
That's cool.
So, yeah, I just worked on the engines. We went down, took the engines off the bird, took them back up to our shop, ran them on the cell, and fixed them.
Yeah, my father was in the Air Force and worked on T-33s.
That's awesome.
What were the names of those helicopters? Because you just gave us SH.
Oh no, CH. CH stands for cargo helicopter.
Oh, okay. Sikorsky? Or?
Yeah, the Sikorsky CH-53 Super Stallion and
the Sea Stallion.
Super Stallion.
Stallion.
Yeah, it was one of the largest helicopters in the military. They just retired it last month or 2 months ago.
They still use Chinooks, or is that the same thing?
No. Chinooks are a larger version of the CH-46. So you've got twin rotor heads that turn in opposite directions. That's what keeps them in flight and from spinning around in circles. They technically should rip themselves apart, but for some reason they work.
Yeah, those things are big. So there's a Air Force version and a Marine version, or a Sea Stallion, or is it all the same?
Actually, you know what? I don't know. We just used the Marine Corps version where I was I didn't go to too many Army bases. I don't think the Army actually had CH-53s. I think that was strictly a Marine Corps bird.
And
If there's anybody in the Army who can correct me on that, please go ahead.
well, I have a lot of helicopter pictures on my Monday lock and lows because they look cool, but that's about the main reason. Like this one, but I just mess with the some Department of Defense pictures. But anyway, so what's new in the gun world besides anything new happening?
Oh, nothing here in California.
Well, you got the Peruta case. Have you heard the Peruta case oral courtroom audio at all?
No, I haven't.
Who's making all that banging sounds, by the way? Is that Moon? I can't tell.
I'm muted
Oh, okay.
on my headset. Mute.
Yeah, I keep muting too when I'm done.
Is it Joseph?
No,
Must be
not
Jeff.
me. I haven't been doing much.
Okay, then it must be something. It must be Brian, I guess. Anyway,
Well, I was muting when I was done, so it might have been me, but I hope not.
Every time that Brian mutes and unmutes, there's a banging sound, actually. Like, Brian, unmute for a second.
All right.
yeah. Okay, now we know what it is. So don't unmute and mute yourself. Just keep it open.
Because just every time you mute, for some reason, there's been a banging sound.
Yeah, there must be
It's
some.
probably my keyboard.
Oh, is your mic near your keyboard?
It's on my headphones, but it's an old cheap laptop, so who knows?
Yeah, it's either something's banging or there's like a hell of a lot of direct current on your mic. On the switch. One or the other. So, anyway, is Dano back?
I'm here.
All right.
Just switching
computers.
devices here. Yeah, trying to.
So we were
Just
asking
kidding, it's
what's
a robot. It's all fake.
Brian was saying that he worked on Super Stallion helicopters, and then we're gonna switch to anything new in the gun world. Because I think I covered most of the news.
I actually have a question for Quirk. I think Quirk, you're the one with the PPX on your screenshot, right?
That's him.
What do you think of that gun compared to like the P99 or the PPQ?
He might be AFK at the moment.
All
Oh,
I can say is I tried it in a gun shop, and all I remember about it is the trigger was awesome. I really love the trigger for the PPX. I don't own one.
I love my P99. I had a 40 cal P99 QA quick action, and I had to sell it several years back to pay the bills. I miss it. I regret it.
Well,
There's a guy at one of the local gun clubs around here that has one, and he loves it, and he does a lot of competition shooting with it.
All right, I'm back. Yeah, I have my headphones on, so I was able to hear everything, but I didn't think you guys wanted to hear me get up and moan and pain, etc., etc. But
Oh, I love to
PPX
hear.
compared to the PPQ, I don't know about the P99. Never shot that, but PPQ is definitely a better gun. And if you can afford the PPQ, get the PPQ. But for $280, which you can get, I think, right now through CDNN, for $280, it's an awesome gun.
Holy shit, that's cheap for a bolter.
Yeah, no doubt. It's
Exactly.
over too. I like the design of it. I just fell in love with the gun when they came out with P99 and everything.
Yeah, it's
But
got one of the
Did it-
best triggers on, a double action only.
For a hammered fire.
Yeah.
I mean, it just some people may not understand that it's hammer, not striker.
Right. It is actually a hammer, but it's actually good.
It's very
Awesome
good.
trigger. I mean, the PPQ is just a teeny tiny bit better.
Is the PPX double action only or single double action?
It's double action only, but it's a pre-cocked hammer. It's got something that's advertised at like a 6.5 pound trigger pull.
Yeah, that kind of turns me off of it then.
The reset's really good on it too.
Yeah, resets nice and crisp. Rather short.
I had a
Right on.
P99 QA, and the trigger on that one was really heavy. It was like 8 pounds from the factory. I
It
remember
was.
looking at the forums and people telling you have to do like your own 25-cent trigger job on it. I never did that, but I shot it pretty good, even despite the heavy trigger.
You think I
Mine-
could afford 25 cents, please?
Mine doesn't feel like 6.5 pounds. It feels much like a much lighter trigger. So
Well, I was watching Such's review on the PPS, and they were saying that comes in at a 6 pound trigger pull, and he measured it at 5.10 ounces, 5 pounds 10 ounces, 5.12 ounces somewhere in there. So it was under the 6 pounds. So maybe yours is under the 6.5.
I'm trying to
it
remember
probably
if
is.
I'm probably trying to remember. I think the gun shop owner said after you break them in, they get a little lighter.
Yeah,
if
I've
I remember
seen
what-
people on the Walther forums reporting that the trigger pull is more like 4.5 pounds.
Yeah, if I
And that
remember what
range with using
the
a guide, or using a measure.
Well,
I
we're
think-
talking about 3 different guns here right now.
Yeah.
So the PPS is the single stack Walther, and I've heard nothing but good things about that. The PPX is the big clunky double action budget gun,
pre-cocked and inexpensive, yeah.
and I think the P99 QA is discontinued, but that
Correct.
was an awesome.
So PPQ is a new version of it.
That was an awesome gun. I had the P99 QA. I don't know what I sold it for, but I remember shooting it well when I had it.
I remember when I
You
bought
guys have-
mine, it was like like $750, but then again, I'm in California, everything's more expensive here. But it definitely was much nicer than my friend's Glock 23, so I was quite happy with it.
Have any of you guys ever shot the P30? That's a really nice gun.
Yeah, I have one. I have the P30L, which is the long slide version.
I think the P30 was. I think it was the first 9mm I've ever shot.
Shit. There goes my camera.
That's why you always have pants on when you're doing one of these gun channels chats.
I never have my pants on.
Yeah, but Quark, never mind.
I've got a freaking cat playing with.
I don't want to know
Paper
what.
bag.
If you're not wearing pants, I don't want to know where the cat is.
No, he's playing with a paper bag. On the floor.
And you have a lot of different names for your own horn.
Okay, keep
Trust
it
me, you don't want a
PG-13.
cat playing with that part of your body.
Keep it family friendly.
I am.
All
No,
right.
you don't want a cat playing with your freaking fingers, because you might lose one.
All right. So, what's the next topic in the gun world here? Did we talk about ISIS yet? And the Texas thing? Anybody?
Yep.
I heard on Fox News that somebody said that although they're keeping his name secret, that somebody said he was an NRA instructor. You know.
Yeah, but they say lots of things.
What's that?
They say lots of things, though.
Who said that? One of the ISIS members was an
no.
NRA instructor?
No. One of the officer that shot the 2 ISIS terrorists
Oh, okay.
was the NRA instructor. Somebody on Fox News said that.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if ISIS came here to join the NRA to learn how to shoot.
Well, I know they would try and stick up the NRA
Because they did
Their
come
ass
here to
kicked.
learn how to fly planes. So, not ISIS, but
It's
terrorism.
really not that hard to become an NRA instructor. I took like an 8-hour class and did some range time, and I was a certified handgun and personal defense instructor for a couple of years.
that's what somebody on one of the analysts on Fox News said about the officer who shot the two attackers that attacked the cartoon contest or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really scare me too much. I mean, if an ISIS attack, that's all they got, you know. I mean, who's afraid of guys that if you can't take out two guys who aren't expecting you with two AKs, I mean, you guys got to be pretty crappy shots, you know.
Yeah.
So.
If no one's really going to be talking about it, my local gun shop has a Winchester. I think it's the SXP, the pump action 12 gauge. Do any of you guys have experience with it?
I have a Winchester 1300 Defender, which is pretty much the same thing. Just an older version of it.
I wasn't sure the differences between the 1300 and the SXP because my father has had a 1300 for years now, and that's what he uses all the time, but I'm not exactly sure what the differences are between them.
I don't know if there's really much other than the 1300. I think is discontinued, or at least the one I have, because I have wood stock on it. But it might have a nicer trigger and some smoother action.
When I was on my ammo run last week, they had I was at the gun shop. They had a S&W 550 cal revolver with this huge muzzle brake. I dry fired it. It was pretty cool.
That's a big gun.
Yeah, now you can give it to any skinny white girl to go shoot with.
I thought, you know, you had to be careful. I mean, it's got a huge muzzle brake on it, but no, you still have to be, you know, prepared for it. You know, just give that. I mean, a girl can shoot it. You know, I mean, it just she can't be her first time shooting a gun. I don't think so.
I would advise, unless she's a weightlifter, she uses wrist brace.
Fate of Destiny used it. She didn't have any wrist braces. You know.
Yeah, but my point was, there's all of these videos online. Like the first time they ever take someone out shooting, and they have this 110-pound soaking wet, 5'2" girl who's never shot a gun before, and they hand her a 500 Smith & Wesson. You know.
Yeah. No, that's not what you do. But Fate of Destiny shot, and she was hitting targets, and she didn't look overpowered by it. So.
Yeah, she could probably shoot it better than I can.
I have no doubt she can. I mean, I'm sure she can shoot it better than me. I mean.
Yeah, thanks.
But, I mean, I had to. Yeah, I was like. First, I just hold it like it was a normal handgun. Then, before I pulled the trigger, I said, "Wait, I better like brace myself a little bit before I do this, because otherwise it'll hit me in the forehead." What's that?
You shot a 500?
No, I didn't shoot. I just dry fired it. It had no recoil when I dry fired it, but you know.
The biggest I've ever shot is 44, so that's no slouch of a gun, but you know, it's not exactly the biggest thing out there.
Well, 44 is no joke. I got a 44 lever action, and that thing kicks like a mule. But I got to shoot a 500 at one of our little shot shows we have down here when they first came out, and that thing bucks. It bucks hard.
With this one, this version has a muzzle brake. Did the one you shoot have one?
Yeah, but I shot the 4-inch with the muzzle brake on it. And they said the muzzle brake was supposed to dissipate like something like 70% of the recoil. I doubt that seriously, because I think that thing would break your hand if it didn't.
Wait, are you talking about a 500 or a 44 mag still? 500. Oh, okay, I was about to say a 44 mag lever action. Wait, were you talking about the lever action that kicked a lot, or the?
Yeah, it bucks like a mule. I prefer to shoot 44 out of a handgun rather than a rifle.
I don't know about that. When I shot a 44 out of a Winchester 92, it didn't recoil very much at all. It was great.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you guys, what rifles did you shoot 44 Magnum out of?
I shot the new reproduction Winchester rifles. You know, the ones that are going for like $800 and are a complete rip-off or something like that. I shot one of those new ones, and it's accurate. The only problem is it's way too expensive, and it's not worth it for the money.
I mean, is anybody selling a rifle that'll shoot that caliber that's not that expensive?
Rossi. Marlin's not. No, that's their guns are pretty expensive when it comes to 44 mag.
I paid $350 for mine.
Yeah, that's on the used market though.
No, brand new at Big Five Sporting Goods out here in California.
No shit. When
No
was
shit.
this?
It was like 6 years ago, so they're probably maybe.
Oh yeah, that's
400
why.
now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like in the past year or two.
Yeah, I think the only one that you're able to get for inexpensive is Rossi, really.
Or are they South American?
Yeah,
Brazil.
they're South American, but from what I understand, they're pretty decent. They're okay.
Yeah, they're imported through Brastemp.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Good Guy with a Gun had a Rossi lever action. And I want to say he was satisfied with his, but I can't remember 100%.
Oh, the gun on my Marlin shoots great. It just I don't want to sit there and shoot box after box of ammo out of it.
Yeah, well, I for some reason I'm always kind of interested in a rifle that'll shoot a pistol caliber round because of its duality of use.
Yeah, I've always been interested in possibly picking up some sort of. I probably wouldn't pick up a majorly expensive gun, but I might pick up something like a Rossi 92 and 357-38 or something like that. I think Matt at Never Enough Ammo has a Rossi 92 and 357-38.
So there's a good guy with a gun. And
Yeah, we were just. Do you know? As best I could remember, Good Guy Chris was satisfied or happy with his Rossi, wasn't he?
Yeah, as far as I know, I shot it. It was a great little gun. Really accurate. Really accurate for a. I think we were shooting 38s out of it.
It's good.
Talking about trying to find, and this is something that I just thought of like 30 seconds ago, so I haven't given much thought, but like something that would shoot a 44 Magnum, but be not be an $800 Winchester special.
Yeah, you're gonna be about 6 or over probably.
Even for a Rossi?
Maybe Rossi would be a little cheaper, or like
About 550
more
from what I've
inexpensive,
seen.
I should say. Hold on, there's another company. Chiappa might make them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Chiappa is probably going to be a little more expensive, wouldn't they?
Or are they the ones that I'm thinking of that make all the random, like the copy of the 12 gauge lever action and stuff? Somebody makes a whole bunch of those. It might not be Chiappa.
That's Norinco.
Well, no, it's not Norinco for sure. I know they make stuff like that, but there's a company that like just specializes in Western guns. I'd have to
Are you thinking of Cimarron? Cimarron, maybe?
That might be it. That sounds about right.
Cimarron or Pedersoli.
But they were a little less. They were like Rossi's. They're a little less expensive than the Winchester itself or the original version. So
Okay, up here where I live, we don't get any Cimarron, but we get the Norincos and the Rossis and stuff. So
I mean, I don't have a 44 mag pistol, so it wouldn't do me any good on that end. But I'm always looking for something that's different that not everybody else in the world has. That also doesn't cost an arm and a leg.
Good luck on that one these days.
No. Sometimes that means buying something that's out of production. If you want to buy something different.
or send it to me. I can make it different.
Or yeah, exactly, or having it customized.
Put my initials on
I'm
There you go.
probably gonna have to send some stuff down to you, Huck. I'm looking to get some work done on a couple knives.
Sweet, I do work on knives.
Yeah, your
You
package
make knives
got
from
here
scratch, also.
Friday, by the way. Thank you.
Oh, cool.
I have a question for everybody real quick. I've been thinking on concealed carry stuff, and I've been kind of like doodling up some designs for some inside the waistband mag pouches and utility pouches. What do you guys think? Do you think that would be a popular item for concealed carry people, or?
I think it's a hugely popular item. It's also a hugely populated area. You go on eBay, there's 50, 60 different people out there making custom Kydex stuff. And I like, everyone uses what I like to call the Philly EDC recipe,
Right.
the Filster recipe. So they're all like made to a certain standard. They're all, if you can find some way to make them cool, make them unique, make them your own. You know, like some people, I know a lot of people that press like really unique handmade pendants and stuff. They'll put that on the side of the gun, so it's got that embossed on the outside. Like, so there's ways to do it yourself. That's the real trick, is making it different than what's out there. Make it nice, making your edge. But that's what I do when I make Kydex. I usually burnish the edges really, really well. That's the only thing I've found so far that I can.
Do you have that like full-on press, setup or?
No, I don't make that much Kydex. I'm doing it all for like personal orders from people. Like Dana ordered some mag pouches from me, and I don't make like production. I don't do a lot of them.
Actually, what I just got was some 511
cargo pants or something like that.
Tactical cargo pants or whatever, and it's really cool because they've got like two little pockets for magazines in front and built in to the pants, and it's the pockets are deep enough that if you want to have pocket rocket, it'll go all the way in, and it's not like if you buy it at Costco where the pockets aren't deep enough for concealed carry. You want
the same chair. I'm wearing them right now. They're decent. They tend to split apart at the seams after a couple of years, but they work. These are the older ones. The newer ones are much nicer.
Yeah, I just got it like yesterday, so I guess they're the newer ones.
It would definitely be these are at least a couple, 3 or 4 years old, and the ones I've seen in like Cabela's and stuff are much nicer now.
I used to wear 511 duty pants, and they had the crotch set up kind of like martial art pants, so they wouldn't split at the seams. And I've had them for years now, and they're still solid as a day of auto.
Yeah, the ones that I got had two little things in front, two little pockets for magazines in front. That's what I was trying to get out.
Well, I knew what you mean. I'm just surprised that Huck has a pair of 511. He doesn't seem like.
I buy pretty much any cargo pants I find at the Goodwill. They're like $6 a pair. So you can't beat a $50 pair of pants for $6.
They have 511 at Goodwill.
Because I knew you always did cargo pants and mil-cert pants and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I do prefer the mil spec stuff, like the actual cargo pants that they used to issue.
In Hawaii, everybody wears cargo pants and flip flops. So
511, of course, is a fortune, which is why I was shocked to hear you say that. But obviously, if you got them used or whatever, then that's a different deal.
Yeah, well,
I buy new stuff too. I just I try to search around and get the best deals I can on stuff.
Yeah, they had a 20% off deal or something from 511 when I bought them like last week or whatever, and free shipping. So, no, actually, it wasn't free. It was free shipping except not to Hawaii, which is normal. So.
Yeah, if you can get especially if you can get those once-a-year Black Friday super sale sort of things where it's free shipping, it's like 30-40% off, then it might actually be worth it because they are quality. It's quality material and quality design.
They're made in Vietnam actually, but all their stuff, their bags too are made, but they do good work. I'm glad we're not at War with Vietnam anymore because they make great packs and stuff over there.
And for imported stuff, they're decent quality. I was playing with some recent Blackhawk exclamation point stuff, and it's good. I mean, it's good for the best of the import stuff I have on hand. I can say that for sure. It's nowhere near the top quality hand sewn stuff or anything like that, but it's really nice. Like compared to especially the Condor stuff, the really 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 mass produced stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff's really terrible. I've had magazines that I didn't even get a chance to take them out to the range because the magazine wore through the pouch before. Just
here, guys. Tactical Six String over on Gun Channels is saying that on Amazon, 511s are like going for $35.
Wow, that's a good deal.
I can also get brand new cargo pants for $19.99.
Yeah, exactly.
I realize that they're not 511 either.
Well, if you want to get the good stuff, you buy one at a time. Over time, next thing you know, you'll have a whole wardrobe of the good stuff.
Yeah, I just brought those up because we were talking about concealed carry stuff, and because that was in the pockets are deep enough for if you want to have a pocket rocket holster. Like I use the Nemesis, and it's got that little thing that if you pull the gun out, just the gun comes out, not the holster. So, and the pockets are way deep enough, and they also have the built-in magazine holsters into the pants. So
nice. only reason I like 511 and like Blackhawk. Blackhawk's another one that makes pretty good stuff. Is generally those cargo pants, they come with pads, with holes for knee pads. So if you get into a fight, you can hit the ground and hit your knees and not have to worry about messing them up too bad.
Yeah. Well, cargo shorts and flip-flops are Hawaii standard. I think everybody, 99% of the people in Hawaii wear cargo shorts and flip-flops. So.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was there.
Holy shit, it's getting late. I gotta get going, guys. It's almost 12:30.
All right.
Can't miss Canadian school.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, who won with the Montreal playoffs? Okay, it was Montreal win yet or?
Oh, I don't give a fuck about Montreal. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
They kicked the Ottawa Sens out.
All right, sorry.
Oops.
We were talking about Dwight Howard and
They got
sports
to tell you what.
earlier.
I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, good night.
Good night. So, Dano, you do gunsmithing?
Who?
Dano?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought they said somebody in here did gunsmithing, and I thought that was your name.
No, it's a guy from Minnesota, and I'm forgetting his name.
The gunsmith?
Yeah,
From
he was
Minnesota?
actually a gunsmith, yeah.
He's not a regular.
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's just every great once in a while he'll pop in. I can't remember what his username is.
Me either, but I can tell him because he's got that Minnesota accent.
Similar to Canadian?
It's got twangs of Canadian in there, yeah.
So it sounds like a redneck Canadian?
And then he's got the Norwegian twang in there too, a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Minnesota people were all from Scandinavia originally, or Vikings. That's why they have the team as the Vikings, because that's where a lot of them were from, Minnesota, right?
Yep.
Yep. Lunafisk. Yuck. If you ever heard Lunafisk, you would know that it's probably the most vile thing on earth to eat.
I would never know. I've never had it. And I'm a fairly adventurous eater, so.
Yeah, it's like a jellied fish because it's been fermented, then, brined with lye, I think. They actually use lye, I think, in there with it.
Wow. I don't think I want to try it.
Yeah, that might kill you.
Well, it's got to be soaked, and the fresh water's got to be changed
Even the
every
Chinese.
so many hours and until it's ready to eat.
Yeah, I've been hearing stuff about how Chinese make their, cargo. Like they'll put plastic in rice and bags to make it heavier, and they'll cheat to get make their weights heavier, and. But I never heard anybody putting lye in food before.
It's a way that they kept it from rotting.
As opposed to using formaldehyde, I guess. We put formaldehyde in beer, so.
It's horrible smelling, and it's really gross. It's almost a jelly texture. There are people that just love the stuff, and
Well, compared to octopus or something like that, is it anything like that, or
no?
Or just
it
way
is
worse?
strictly its own taste.
Oh.
Nothing tastes like it. Limburger cheese smells horrible. Tastes good. Smells horrible.
So hey, Brian, if you have time, you ought to check out I have on my website Second Amendment Courtroom, or on my YouTube page, and it's got the Peruta case, which is pretty big for California. So when you get time, check that.
Yeah.
Recording of the courtroom art of the lawyers arguing. I have that on there, and the Baker case. Those are the two related cases. One, Baker's Hawaii, but it's all the same, based on Peruta, then in case anybody's listening doesn't know, on June 16th, the en banc review, the same lawyer for Ed Peruta against the sheriff of San Diego County is going to be arguing. The lawyer's name is Paul Clement. But it's a big case. They going to have 11-judge panel instead of a 3-judge panel, and the state wanted intervenor status, and they lost the original case, and so they got an en banc. The judge who wrote the dissenting opinion. What the hell is that? Anyway, the judge who wrote the dissenting opinion is now the Chief Justice of the United States Ninth Circuit Appeals Court, Federal Appeals Court, and so there's going to be 11-judge review of whether or not California could get intervenor status, and who knows if they're going to review the whole case, and then that'll either be appealed to a 23 panel court or en banc review at whatever they decide, and then after that it could go to the Supreme Court. So,
all right, yeah.
I thought that would be panel of 3, the full panel, or it goes to SCOTUS.
No, panel of 3, panel of 11, then a full panel of 23, and then SCOTUS. Or it could go at any point to SCOTUS, but okay. Right now we're at 11.
Because in Illinois, when we had the en banc going on, it was possible for it to go to 3 or go to the full panel, or they could have just pushed it, passed on it, and let it go to SCOTUS. There was no 23 or anything like that.
Yeah, the full court. It was here. It's 11, and then the full court is 23. So, but this is an 11 panel.
But there must be little jurisdictional differences between the federal districts.
Well, you mean they might have different courtroom procedures or a number of judges in the courts because they're all hung up in Congress, not being approved, I guess. How they get stuck. President Obama appoints a judge, and the Republicans don't approve him, or something like that.
Yeah, but I just remember there being, because we're not going on 2.5 years back, but it was either a panel of 3 or the full panel. I don't remember what the number was, but all the district judges. And then after that, it would have gone to.
No, I mean you're talking about a federal appeals court. There's in California there's 23 judges, and they're picking a random 11 out of the 23 for the en banc, and then after that they can appeal it to the full court, which is 23, instead of the 11, and do the whole court. But or it can go to the Supreme Court. Who knows? But district judges are a lower court.
I said district by mistake. I meant appeals, court of appeals.
The appellate court, yeah.
So anyway, it's an interesting oral arguments there in the Baker and Peruta case, but it's going to be live. The U.S. District Court has a website. A YouTube page actually, and they stream all their courtroom stuff. Everything is streamed live now. If you go to their, I'll see if I can. I think I subbed them, but it's just basically. I'm gonna cough. It's basically a live channel on YouTube.
All right.
All the courtrooms in San Francisco.
It just so happens I'm going to have plenty of time, at least for 2 weeks. I'm going to pull the court here and go into surgery on Thursday, but they're going to rebuild my nose. So I'm going to be down for a couple of weeks because of that. So I'll have plenty of time to look this stuff up and get up to date.
Well, good luck with that.
It's going to be nothing. Outpatient surgery.
I know, but any surgery is still surgery.
Yeah, there's that. I try not to fret over it too much. I've had enough of them.
Okay, so somebody needs to bring up a new topic. I'm running out.
Trying to think of one.
Well, I've been reading the Wisconsin bill to eliminate the 48-hour waiting period on handgun purchases. I don't know if this is actually a good thing or a bad thing, because they added an amendment to the bill that passed the Senate on the 21st of April. 21st of April. That says that under certain cases you could wait up to 5 days now. Before, the max you had to wait is 3 days, and if they didn't come back within 3 days, you have to take it home, no matter what. But most people got approved right away.
Wow. I killed for 5 days. Yeah. I got a 10-day waiting period, and they can tell you within 5 minutes whether you're approved or not.
Yeah, but they're supposed to get rid of the 48 hours, and if they get rid of that, it should be basically like you do with a rifle or a shotgun, which is you go in there, you fill out the paperwork, they call it in, and you walk out with it. That's what it should exactly be like with handguns. But with this amendment added on, it's not a good thing, because it could add that 5 days to some people.
Yeah, that sounds like they're going to use that as an excuse.
If you had a top secret clearance in the military, now you're waiting 5 days. Instead of
That's okay. In California, unless you are actively retired now from the military, are a peace officer, or have a state permit, you actually have to take a test to buy a handgun or a shotgun. You have to take a test to get a card that you have to renew like every year or something like that. It's called the Firearms Safety Card, and it costs $25 a shot every time you go get one.
In Illinois, we don't have to take a class, but we have to have a firearm owner's identification card.
Well, it used to be if you were just honorably discharged from the military, that was good enough. But now it's actively retired. They've even taken that away from our poor guys coming home.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get rid of the 48-hour wait period, but if we could add up to 5 days, I'm not in favor of that part of it. But, for me, for me, who has a concealed carry, I should just be able to go in there, fill out the paperwork, have them do the check like they always do, show them my license, and be able to take the freaking gun home. Not wait, like what this bill says, you can pick it up within hours.
I hate to use the word reasonable, but it seems like, pretty much in every state that once you are known to have, let's say, have purchased one gun, that from after that point, there's no reasonable point in holding back on not giving it to you right away. Because you obviously, if you were angry and wanted to go do something bad, you already have one gun to go to it with. You don't need
That's my argument out here. That's the argument I use out here in California, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, you need a cooling off period." I'm like, "Oh God, you guys are morons."
You don't go out and buy a second gun if you're an impulse criminal. Impulse criminal, and you already have one that's probably illegal in the first place if you're a criminal. You just go out and do whatever criminal thing you're going to do.
Yep. As by definition, criminals do not follow the law.
But concealed carry holders clearly at least have one firearm already. So that's why I'm saying concealed carry holders should be exempt from any holding period, because
well, why should it be just concealed carry owners? What about just regular firearm owners? And they know you have firearms. If they know you already have firearms, why not just clear you to take it home too, whether you're a concealed carrier or not?
Well, I would agree with that too. I'm just saying it's a way of compromising. Until we get what we want, we just work on improvements.
Well, that's true.
Because if you're just a regular citizen and you don't have a firearm, obviously you might have to wait 24 to 48 hours to be able to get one to go do something, your X or whatever it is you're trying to do. Where if you're a concealed carry holder, obviously you didn't come to the store just to buy one to go do something bad, because you already have one that you could go do something bad with. So that's not why you're at the store.
That is true. You know, it makes perfect sense. It also shows that you've been through some sort of formal training as well. Even if it is the minimal amount, like I don't know what it's required for where you live, but out here you have to take a 4 to 8 hour class depending on who you're going to, and you have to shoot reasonably accurate. The place I went through required 100% accuracy for at 3, 5, and 7 meters.
Yeah, we have a 16-hour class plus a test, plus a written test, not just a competency shooting test.
Oh yeah, we have a written test as well too. I should mention that. I apologize. But yeah, out here in California, we just actually at San Bernardino, where I'm from, we actually just won a court case not too long ago to where, because in the past they wouldn't let us use for my own personal defense as a valid reason to have a CCW, and that has been overturned. So it's now actually much easier to get a CCW where I live. The problem is if you live in the city, you have to go through your local PD first, and then you have to wait for them to turn you down. And then when they decide to turn you down, then you can go to your county sheriff, and your county sheriff will issue it to you. And the process is
Let me ask you a question. This is a little bit of change in California. In the rural counties, are people actually starting their sheriffs in the rural counties actually signing off on concealed carry permits?
Oh, yeah, actually, it's out here in our county. It falls to the sheriff last. The counties are a larger municipality, so they have more power out here. Like San Bernardino County and Riverside County are the 2 largest counties in the country, and so their law enforcement agencies are not small. But yeah, you can get once you get you signed off by any one of your law enforcement officials wherever you live, then you're actually valid to carry that within the state, as long as you don't go into non-carry areas like schools, banks.
Let me try to ask my question again. In the rural counties only, are the sheriffs starting to hand out permits where 2 years ago they were not?
You know, I wouldn't know about Northern California.
Okay, that's fair enough. I thought you might know. That's all.
I've mainly been shopping it a bit just to get one down here in San Bernardino, and all I have to do now is come up with the money, and it's mine.
Southern California, it's nearly impossible, and I understand that. The same thing with the Oakland, San Francisco area.
Although, didn't they win some kind of? Well, no, that was a while ago. That's old news. San Francisco used to have a ban on firearms, and I think it was overturned in a federal appellate court too, as well as Chicago, where they actually had to allow people to carry firearms. And same as in Washington D.C. So
how Chicago's going about to keep the gun stores out is by local zoning ordinances about how it doesn't fit into the neighborhood, the type of business. You know, kind of like a bar as an example. Well, it doesn't fit into the local community. I mean, it's just BS stuff. I mean, there's no gun stores in the city of Chicago.
I think New York did that with like adult businesses in Times Square, I think.
Right.
We're actually doing weed stores here in San Bernardino. No joke, there was like within 3 miles of my house, there were 11 weed shops at one point in time, and they're finally zoning them out.
Oh, they're zoning them in Hawaii, except you need to pay $2 million. You need to have $2 million in the bank to open one, and I think the application fee is like $300,000 or something ridiculous.
So you have to be a pre-existing drug dealer to be able to afford it.
No, you have to be a drug company to do it. Pretty much. I mean, who else would have $2 million in the bank doing nothing? I mean,
honestly, I would prefer it if it was a drug company doing it, but we got like just Joe Schmo opening up stores.
Yeah, but the drug companies are going to charge a fortune for prescription marijuana, and some guy in the backyard growing weed could do just as good of a job for a lot less.
Well, the stuff they're selling out of our dispensaries is quite pricey. It's not cheap. I don't know myself, but my friend Brian is a pothead, and he complains all the time about the prices.
Would he rather complain about getting arrested for having it?
I don't think he cares, honestly. But, but he's got his car.
If that's what somebody wants, they ought to be glad that they're just not getting hassled.
Well, the thing I don't like about it is where I live is kind of like a bad neighborhood. And when they opened up those stores around me, it just brought all the crime down into my neighborhood. And then you got these yuppies who smoke the weed, and they're trying to say, "Oh no, it's harmless. It doesn't do anything." And I'm like, "Well, come walk down my streets one night." I mean, we've had more homicides in the past year than we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
Not because of weed.
Like non-GMO food, it's green, it's healthier, it's more natural.
Well, yeah, it is, but it's still, people are willing to commit crimes to get it. So,
Hemlock is natural too, but it's not great for you.
Oh, so switching the subject from weed.
Sorry.
No, actually, it was hemlock.
Oh, well, switching the subject from hemlock, then there's the Cody Wilson, the guy who posted the gun, the 3D printable gun, is suing the federal government. Basically on free speech. I linked the article from the New York Times. It's saying it's free speech because the State Department made him. Let's see. A few days after the Liberator plans were put online, State Department ordered Mr. Wilson to remove them, threatening him with jail time and $1 million fines for having possibly broken rules that govern the export of military data. And now with a high-powered legal team behind it, Mr. Wilson's company, Defense Distributed, had filed suit against the State Department, claiming that its efforts to stop him from publishing his plans, which are no more than a computer code, amount to prior restraint on free speech. And they filed it in federal court on Wednesday, a 25-page suit in Austin, Texas.
Well, that's great news, because that's clearly a First Amendment issue.
Yeah, so...
The time to the second.
What's that?
I mean, it's clearly a First Amendment issue with a tie-in to the second.
Oh, yeah. I can see that quite clearly.
Yeah, they're saying that by posting the files online, he may have violated the international traffic in arms regulations, which seek to prevent export of sensitive military hardware. I don't think this is sensitive military hardware to know how to make a gun.
No, we're talking about 150-year-old technology as far as centerfire type stuff.
Yeah, it was 3D printable.
And there's the Anarchist Cookbook is still out there. There's all sorts of stuff out there that's readily available that actually works for what I'll just call generically bad things, or things that can be used for bad. But they're just things. I mean, a chainsaw by itself doesn't do anything. But you put it in the hands of Freddy Krueger.
You should change your screen name to Freddy Krueger. Oh, wait, Moon Guns was the guy with the Freddy Krueger doll, wasn't he? Just at the beginning of the chat.
I think so.
Krueger doll out, since you brought it up.
Another lawsuit going on right now is Ruger is suing the state of California for. It has to do with charging them for. They charge whoever sells a gun in the state of California. If you want to sell your firearm in the state of California, you have to pay like a drop test safety fee, and it's not just per model, like Glock 17 or Glock 23 or Glock 21. It's for every variant. You have to pay for every variant of each model. So if you have an all-black Ruger SR9, and then you pay for that. Then if you have a two-tone, you pay for that. The SR9C, you pay for that. And they also want them to microstamp the serial number of the firearm on the firing pin, so when it strikes the case.
Yeah, isn't there a lawsuit happening about the micro-stamping too?
Yeah, that's the. Well, I know Ruger's leading the charge. I don't know how many other companies are involved in it, but they're all coming after California on that. And I hope to God they win.
Well, God can't save you from lawyers.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see what happens. It's just all I hate about this is they do these stupid laws, and then it takes us 10 years to try and undo what they did. And so I just hope I live to see that Peruta case, and we get civil rights, restored. But I don't know. We'll have to see how many years it takes. If you're looking at 2 en banc reviews and then SCOTUS, maybe, it's like,
might happen before I die.
Yeah, I know. And it's like by then, it's like, at some point you just got to go. If you feel like you're in danger, then you have to, screw the laws and do what you have to do. And but on the other hand, you don't want to get arrested and go to jail and lose your rights. So it's a balancing act.
Yeah. Well, it's just my answer is to move the hell out of California. But then all that does is prolong the inevitable hit. Because if California ends up winning that, I could imagine that since they follow suit on a lot of things that California and New York does, other states will follow eventually.
Well, basically, I think a lot's going to come down to who's the president and who appoints the next Supreme Court justice. When somebody leaves, and so that's why that's shit hits Hillary being elected is like a shit hits the fan scenario as far as the Constitution goes. But she's already changing her positions. It's like free citizenships and voting for all illegal aliens because there's 15 million votes she could pick up pretty easy, or however many it is, by pandering to this group or that group,
That's nothing new. The Democratic Party's been doing that for decades now.
Yeah, but Bush got 40% of the Mexican vote, the Latino vote, when he ran.
Why do you think he got such a high percentage of the Latino vote?
He's from Texas. I don't know.
He had a Mexican wife.
Well, only because
George Bush. I forget which Bush. I thought it was George W. that got such a large percentage. I don't know.
Yeah, he's the one with the Mexican wife.
Well, no, George W. doesn't have a Mexican wife. Jeb Bush has a Mexican wife.
Oh, okay. So I stand corrected.
Well, I'm not sure now. I'm not sure which one carried 40%. I think he carried it over Gore because I don't know, maybe just people. I don't know, because Gore was Gore or something. I don't know.
Gore's the one where they had the election was decided by basically the Supreme Court.
Well, the hanging chads. Let's not get into that one because I don't know what the hell that was.
And pregnant chads.
Pregnant chads, hanging chads.
So we're going to avoid politics because I was going to ask what you guys. What is your take on the Electoral College? I think it should be done away with because of the way communications are set up nowadays. The world's so small via the internet, so we really have no use for an Electoral College.
Well, don't you have to have a constitutional convention to do away with that or something? Or
I'm not sure.
The reason the Electoral College was invented was because back when it was invented, people lived so far apart they had to travel to make their votes known. So they elected their representatives, and they went forth and they said, "Our people vote for this guy. Your people vote for that guy." So it's like,
to anybody who actually understands how it works, it's clearly an obsolete system.
Yeah, but I think to do away with it, you have to have a constitutional convention, and if they start changing stuff, then
Yeah, that's true.
It'll be like the who knows what else are going to change, you know.
You don't have to open up the entire Constitution. There are things, that's why we have amendments to the Constitution. We don't open up the whole Constitution. We just amend it.
Well, to get rid of the, electoral college, I think you'd need more than an amendment for that. I think you need a constitutional convention.
I don't know. I just that there are major things that are done with or have been done with amendments, as well as been done by presidential order.
Well, which brings us to our TPP fast track authority topic. I mean, that whole thing is just you think first I thought, well, the whole thing with the Trans-Pacific. Oh, I think I talked about this once before, is that the Trans-Pacific Trade Pact, is that the reason that we need to negotiate a Trans-Pacific Pact is because the Asian-Pacific market is the fastest growing growth market in the world, and we can't just bury our heads in the sands. And China also already has an alternative proposal, but the thing is, it's a secret pact right now, and nobody knows what's in it. What's as it's being negotiated, except for Congress, who Congress is going, they have to go into, to see what it is. A congressperson has to go in, and sign some piece of paper or something or whatever. They can't, make any notes. They can't, or they can't leave with any notes. But the whole thing is he wants fast-tracked authority, but it's secret, and they can't tell anybody what's in it, because if they do, then China will find out about it, and they don't want China to compete. They're trying to, but we don't know what's in it. The people don't know what's in it. I mean, maybe some of the representatives do, but so it's really convoluted. It's like, and if they have a public debate over what's in it, then China will change its proposal for a Trans-Pacific Bank, universal bank or whatever.
We have always been an open country and have had open debate. And when we don't have open debate, that's generally when that government has gone in the wrong direction. Is when things have been hidden in the shadows.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to believe that there is. I mean, I suppose they could keep it secret, but it's just with all the internet cyber war crap, I don't see how they could keep it secret anyway. But I mean, I guess they're trying. So I mean, but I just don't see how they can. I would prefer, a public debate before and no fast track authority, but
15, 20 years, NAFTA was not held, and yet it was an economic for North America. And granted, there were some negative things in there, but at least people had the opportunity to voice our opinions, which is what our country is about. I don't care what China's about. But we have the right to openly discuss these sorts of things, especially with the trade pact. We're not talking about a renegotiated NATO or something like that. Where, you do need some secret economic agreement.
You're cutting in and out, Dano.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm just going to go ahead and drop out at this point and listen for a while then.
Okay.
All right.
My signal must be going.
Yeah, it's the wonderful internet. As soon as you start talking about TPP, then we get hacked. So, what were you going to say about the TPP, Brian?
Oh no, I was just in agreement with everybody. I think it should be out. It should be the people that decide, not the government behind the people's backs. But that's just common sense.
Well, we could use some more common sense. We don't get too much of it, but it's again, it is the biggest growing sector, so we do have to have some kind of, because it's the fastest growing market in the world. But it's it's like, it sure would be nice if we could actually find out what's in it before they vote on it. So and when I start seeing commercials on TV for promoting fast track for the Trans-Pacific Trade Pact, then I'm beginning to doubt whether we should have somebody's paying for those commercials, and I'm wondering who, So
it kind of makes me wonder, is like, are the people who know about it, are they getting in on the ground floor of some economic windfall? And maybe...
Yeah, well, I assume they are, you know, and boy, one day you're gonna have to fix that mic because it makes a hellacious noise when you stop talking or whatever. But I know you're not muting it. But wow. Anyway, Trans-Pacific Crate Back. Yeah, we need to have a debate on it after they negotiate it. I mean, they can keep it secret, but I don't think somebody's paying for it, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's, you know, huge corporations, but you know, those are probably American corporations people have 401ks and stuff, you know. So it's just that usually in these, you have to wonder what's in the pact. You know, you can't just have the president in charge of everything, and Congress doesn't have any oversight at all, you know. But I don't know what's going to happen with it. You know, we got another year of craziness of Obama before we have a crazy election, and then we have to do anything so Hillary doesn't win, because, you know, it's just going to be a nightmare. I mean, yeah, you are going to have to buy a lot of lowers, you know, but I mean, I don't know how hard it is to actually just, you know, if you have your own mold for, you know, instead of a lower, I would just rather buy a mold for a lower, you know, because you can build all you need to build a forge is like a bucket, plastic or a metal bucket with some cement, and then you can build your own forge in a metal bucket. You know, a steel pail, pretty much, and you just need to take some aluminum cans. Because I don't know what do they? I don't know. I don't think it's pure aluminum. It's an aluminum, you know, with some hardening. It's not pure aluminum, obviously, right?
Oh, it depends on the type of aluminum. Aircraft aluminum actually comes in several different grades, and it's either mixed with like chrome or nickel, or it's a compound virtually.
Yeah, it's not pure aluminum, so you can't just like melt aluminum cans and then pour it into a mold. But I mean,
pure aluminum is extremely soft.
Yeah, so it would have to be with but if you had a mold, it's for making them, then it just seems like, you know, once you got if you knew anything at all about, you know, how to put the metal together. Yeah, that's why they're so cheap. That's why they don't cost that much usually, unless they're about to be banned, and then the prices go through the roof because they're pretty easy to make, lowers. You know.
Well, I mean, you know, if you got access to the tools, you can take a couple of machining classes too. Just machine your own blowers.
But so yeah, those ammo and lowers would probably be the best investment pre-Hillary. If I'm just like, you know, you gotta wonder if Hillary's elected, you know, what is there any point to being an American anymore? You know?
As long as people keep talking to everybody about how, you know, it's like she couldn't even stay in her office during Benghazi. She got sick and she had to run away because she was sick during the Benghazi incident. She's not going to be able to do that as president. People need to know that. People need to learn that. That way, you know, they're less likely to vote her in.
Okay, well, let's switch to some fun topics like we were talking earlier about. Let's cover our sports topics, Deflategate and Dwight Howard.
Go Grizzlies.
So, well, with Deflategate, they got Tom Brady. You know, they had one of his. Basically, the Colts sent a letter to the NFL before the AFC's playoff game last year saying the Patriots are deflating the balls. Please check them. So, you know, so the referee goes and oh, that's when G Webb's left. Shooting is a sport too. Anyway, yeah, since he talked about any other sport besides shooting, he bails. But so basically, they sent a letter. The referee before the game checked the balls, and then 10 minutes before the game started, all the balls disappeared. You know, he's like, "Where's the balls?" So anyway, then they found, you know, so basically, and the guy who was deflating one of one of the Patriots ball techs or whatever is his name. His nickname was Deflator, the Deflator. So, and there were some texts where they caught Tom Brady. So
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
I was going to say I have no doubt in my mind they're doing some kind of dirty pool. I mean, how many times have you heard like Bill Belichick get caught for like cheating?
Well, did you hear what the penalty was? They penalized him today. It was $1 million fine for the Patriots, 4 game suspension for Tom Brady, which is his pay for 4 games is $2.1 million, and they lose a first-round draft pick in 2016, and I think a 4th-round draft pick next year. So.
Oh boy, they lose a 31st or 32nd draft pick. Big deal.
What happened was, why don't they strip him of the Super Bowl too? I mean, like they do with the college students with their Heisman Trophy coming into the pros, like Reggie Bush. I mean, wow, they cost them a total of $3.1 million. I'm sure the owner is going to foot the whole entire bill, and because he made like he made like hundreds of millions of dollars off the whole deal anyway.
He was the guy that Putin stole the Super Bowl ring off of him. It's Robert Kraft.
Actually, no, Robert Kraft is not a bad guy. I mean, he's probably just trying to do whatever he can to win.
Well, he wasn't the guy that deflated the balls.
Yeah.
Also remember that, that the owner, Kraft, and the NFL commissioner, I'm drawing a blank on his name, are like best buds.
Robert Goodell.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Well, the one reason I like Kraft is like last year when they went to the Bengals stadium to play the Bengals, there was a player, number 75. I can't think of his name, but his daughter is like sick with some sort of cancer or something like that. So you saw everybody in the stand wearing these number 75 jerseys in support, because if he bought that jersey, the money goes to the fund to help kids survive whatever type of cancer it was. Well, Kraft actually went there and spent, I think it was $100,000 on number 75 jerseys, and had the people who work at Bengal Stadium hand them out to people as they went in. So, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. The thing is, not all the money goes to the player. Some goes to the NFL. But that's where the players make the most money off merchandise, is their jerseys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's true, but the thought behind it was pretty awesome. And I'm pretty sure they do joint share, so he made some money back on that, too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then we move on to Dwight Howard. I don't know who watched the Clippers game last night, but the Clippers versus the Houston Rockets, and I mean, Dwight Howard. I think the score is like 133-99, and the Clippers just totally destroyed the Rockets. And it was Dwight Howard got fouled out and ejected all at the same time, and he was almost ejected once before, but he fouled out and was ejected also. So. And I really, me and Brian were talking about this earlier, and because I'm originally from LA, and I moved to Hawaii about 12 years ago, and so I'm an LA Lakers fan, and so Dwight was with LA for a year, took millions of dollars, and LA wanted to build the whole team around him and get him the players, and figure out what he needed to win, and so he just bailed for the Rockets instead. And my thought was that LA was a team that the people that owned and managed the team were people who knew how to build a team around somebody and make them successful. And Dwight just bailed, so I really enjoy seeing him lose, especially at the Staples Center to anybody, team from LA, the Clippers, the Lakers. And because he always has this, every time he loses, he has this look on his face like he's a big question mark on his face, like, how come I'm losing? He don't understand that he don't understand why he's losing, and the reason is because if you want to win, you need to be in an organization that knows how to build, is willing to build a team around you. You know, if you're somebody like Dwight Howard, that can take advantage of your strengths and work around your weaknesses. And you know, it's not just about being a good player and knowing where to step and knowing how to, you know, move. And you also have to have an organization that knows how to put a team together that can win. And he didn't get that. It's just like all about him. So that's why he still don't get it. He don't know why he's losing. He has this every time he just has this slightly upset, but more like this question mark, like how come I'm losing, you know? And he just don't get it. And so I really enjoy seeing that big dumb question mark on his face because he haven't figured out that yet that you know what the Lakers are trying to do for him. And so I just enjoy seeing him lose. And I don't think he's ever going to win with the Rockets. And I don't think anybody in LA wants him back, you know, if he paid them. So
yeah, I've been thinking on that. I'm thinking he probably tried to do what LeBron did, you know, abandon Cleveland and go to Miami. He abandoned LA to go to Houston because he figured he had a better chance to win there. And I think it blew up in his face, which is a beautiful thing. So,
yeah.
You know,
anybody here watch Jeopardy?
He's no. Anyway, he's laughing all the way to the bank, but you know, whatever. No, I don't watch Jeopardy.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, if you're a fan of the Packers or like Aaron Rodgers, he's gonna be on Jeopardy tomorrow.
Really?
Yep.
That's not something I watch.
Hey, he's a California boy. He's dating a Hollywood starlet.
That's about as funny as it can get.
Hey, if you had a chance to nail Olivia Munn, wouldn't you?
I've dated lots of Hollywood starlets. I mean, just usually the cheaper non-star kind, you know. And, you know, people that date people because they're a star, I mean that's so phony. That can never last.
It's like a good match.
It never lasts.
Republican.
Yeah, she basically lived last year in Green Bay for the whole football season, from training camp all the way. And she comes up here, you know, for the mini camps and everything else.
Oh, damn, Aaron must be putting it down pretty good for her to want to put up with that cold, being from Southern California.
Well, she's a Midwest girl. She's a Midwest girl. She's used to the lifestyle. She's not used to the cold, you know. I can't remember what state she's from, like Missouri or something like that. She's fucking hot, I will tell you that.
Well, the quarterback seems to be getting all the hot chicks.
Yeah. I'm talking, you know, without all that frickin' makeup on, just seeing her in regular civilian clothes and barely any makeup, because I actually ran into her at Maplewood Meats. I didn't say anything to her because, well, one, it's me, and two, like it's like she's just like, you know, Hollywood star.
Well, if you actually like run into her, you should just run into her and pretend it's an accident and say, "Oh, sorry," you know, and then.
She was getting bugged by a few people, but I got to sit there and stare at her for a few minutes.
Was she wearing anything tight?
You know, I'll give you the example of Brendan Fraser's wife. You know, he got married, and when I used to run the audio recording studio in Burbank, and I did some voice pre-production audio for Monkey Bone, and that was right after he got signed to that piece of crap before he blew up, and that was right. He signed the contract before he signed the contract for what was his big film again? The Mummy, right? The Mummy.
Oh,
The Mummy. The Mummy.
Okay.
And so, you know, then all of a sudden his price went up to $20 million a film, but he had to do the other contract anyway. So, anyway, I won't talk about how terrible, because I didn't have anything to do with that. I just did some pre-production audio. But anyway, when you start making $20 million per film, you know, I mean, even if the government gets half, that's a lot of money. And then so he got married to this really beautiful Hollywood chick, and then, you know, when his film career kind of came to a pretty abrupt end, then, you know, his wife divorced him, and he was paying. Well, she divorced him before his Hollywood career came to an end. But when it came to an end, his alimony payments were based on how much money he was making when he was making $20 million film. So, that's Hollywood marriages for you. Oh yeah, he's broke. Brendan Fraser's broke. So.
One word for you: prenup.
Yeah, well, even with the prenup,
Hey, girls can make prenups too. J-Lo, when she married Ben Affleck, put in the prenup that he was to service her anytime she wanted sex. Evidently, she's a sexaholic. She likes it like 3 times a day. So, poor Ben Affleck.
Poor Ben Affleck's penis.
Poor buy her a sex toy. I mean, I see. This is why all these people are about. They're not most Hollywood people. Not all of them, but most Hollywood, especially actors, are about. Are not. They're just not real. I wouldn't want to.
They're not real people.
No, they're just not real about life.
Of course not.
I don't think they're real people either. I think they truly believe they are who they portray in all their movies.
No, I think they are.
Tom Hanks.
I think they are who their ego leads them to think they are.
Tom Cruise. Sorry about that. That's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, don't badmouth Hanks. He's an awesome actor.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's an awesome. Yeah. Well, there are actors that have done it right, and there are actors that have done it horrible.
Can you believe Tom Hanks started off on a show called Bosom Buddies, and he was a stand-up comic?
Well, you have Tom Hanks can basically play any frickin' role.
Oh, yeah, he can.
John Wayne started out just moving props around on a set.
Yeah, Ward Bond, his cohort in crime, along with John Ford, tried to talk John Wayne out of doing acting. And later they argued about it. John Wayne was complaining about it. And Ward says, hey, you should have listened to me when I told you to stay out of it. So it was actually kind of cool. I'm a huge John Wayne fan, too, by the way.
And let's see. John Wayne. I'm thinking here.
And by the way, who couldn't like Saving Private Ryan or
oh, she's Castaway, The Terminal, Road to Perdition, The Green Mile. The list
even
goes
the stuff
on
he's been executive producer of. Like, I'm trying to think of the HBO miniseries right now. Pacific, Band of Brothers. There we go.
Band of Brothers, yeah, because Clint Eastwood did the one with Letters from Iwo Jima and Letters and the American side of that too. Yeah.
Those weren't all that good.
I thought the Japanese one was very good.
It was okay, but it wasn't. I would not call it anywhere near.
I think the American story being told was just kind of thrown together because people were like, "Hey, why are you telling the Japanese side, not the American side?"
Those people were idiots.
Yeah, well, we're talking about people.
Yeah, well, a lot of Americans, they hear a foreign language and they think, it's like an insult or something because if you don't speak American, but...
By the way, just speaking of this, because we're talking about World War II, the oldest surviving veteran from World War II had his 109th birthday.
Hoorah.
I think May 9th or something like that. 109.
So that's
He's an
cool.
avid gun guy.
If I get to 90, somebody put me down, please.
Oh, the guy's still active.
Well, that's cool, but I don't know if I want to be on this planet for 100 years.
109 years is a long time.
Generally, somebody who lives that long outlives everybody they love.
Yeah, but he's been, since he's so freaking old. He hangs out with, politicians, including presidents.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he makes a good prop for politicians.
Yeah, hangs out with Hollywood celebrities.
Well, yeah, I mean, I bet he could get if somebody girl needs a date for a film event, he can be a volunteer. You know, as long as he doesn't snore during the screening or something and fall asleep.
I'm sure Tom Hanks has paid him a visit or a few.
So we got Memorial Day coming up on the 18th, I believe.
Yeah, no, I think it's the weekend of the 25th. I think
Memorial Day?
23rd, 24th, and 25th, I believe, is Memorial Day.
It's not the 18th? I thought it was the 18th. Okay, I'm mistaken.
I thought it was the 31st.
So if anybody's in the chat, can you please tell us what day Memorial is? Because we don't.
I always thought that was the end of May.
Somebody says in the lobby.
Or the last Monday of May, I should say.
I did Google it.
Oh, if it's the last Monday today, it will be the 23rd, 24th, 25th. That's correct, because the 31st is actually a Sunday.
Okay, you guys, everybody in the, nobody's saying anything except that the last comments in the chat here are about sports, celebrities, and
we lost Dan now.
Yeah, so, but I don't know when Memorial Day is coming up, but
it's soon.
Yeah, it's soon. So I have a Hawaiian flag. I don't have an American flag. I have a small American flag, but just a tiny car-like one. I have a big Hawaiian flag, but maybe I'll get an American flag.
Yeah, I have an American flag, but it's all nice and folded up, and a display triangle.
Is it cased, or is it just folded up?
It's in a case. I have it in a case. So was my father's from his funeral.
Oh, yeah, don't just leave it there.
Yeah, it's in a case. I put his dog tags in there with it.
Right on. That's cool.
Yeah, well,
it is a service card.
You go to Walmart and get a display one for displaying outside your house on Memorial Day, though, so you're going to have to use that one.
Oh, I know. No. I almost donated to the graveyard because they actually fly donated flags from veterans. So, but the veterans do, yeah, they I'm trying to think of the correct term, but the graveyard actually, for every veteran, they put flags up by their tombstone every year.
That is awesome.
Well, is there anything you guys want to talk about before we
Memorial Day, May 25th.
May 25th? Okay. So I have some time to hit Walmart and pick up a new flag.
Yeah, you got some time on it.
Yeah, and I've got a little, car flag I can use. It's an American flag.
Yeah, that's what I have, one of those little car flags. But I have a big Hawaiian flag, so I'm going to have to go get it.
I've got a big German flag.
A German flag?
Yeah, old school, pre-World War I.
Why'd you have a German flag?
Because I'm technically German. Even though my family came from Germany, but now it's part of Czechoslovakia.
All right.
Wow.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Nein.
Gesundheit.
Gesundheit.
Barfingen.
Volkswagen.
Right.
Dachshund.
Sauerkraut.
It would just be kraut.
Oh, kraut, sorry.
Now. You know what that means?
Nine.
No. All right. Okay. You have failed your German test. Congratulations, you're an American.
I know I'm an American. I just have it because when I was in high school, it was just cool.
Yeah, I took German so I would know the enemy language in high school and college, because I'm grandson of Holocaust survivors, so that's why I studied German, just in case, but I never really needed it except for dubbing films, so anyway. So thanks everybody for listening if you're still with us. Unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about before I end tonight's chat.
I got nothing planned, so I'll sit here and talk about nothing forever. So if you want to cut it, let's cut it.
Okay, so check out gun channels, but don't talk to G-Webs about sports because he doesn't think target shooting is a sport, I guess. But
nope, it's not a sport.
Target shooting isn't a sport?
Nope.
Well, what about those content? Okay, whatever. So check out Gun Channels. They got a lot of pro Second Amendment types on it. And I'm this is Steve from Hawaii Volcano Squad, and we got Brian. What channel? What's your YouTube channel, Brian?
I don't know. I'm on Gun Channels.
Okay. Gun Channels. And we got Quark, the famous gyrocopter commander, and I won't say what else he does because I don't know. And thanks for
Mr. Quark
listening.
71.
Quark
You
71.
can tell by my little side, yeah. That's
Quark
what you can do.
71.
Mr. Quark 71.
All right.
Mr. Quark 71.
All right. So thanks for listening, guys, and get out there the next election and vote. And whatever you do, we got to stop Hillary. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on next Monday.